In my last video I made this drill press table. I can turn the fence and the table is very easy to install and to uninstall. Now in this video I will make a vertical table. So first I will turn the drill press metallic table until it is perfectly vertical. I loosen this nut and I turn the table. And I tighten it, but not too much. I put a long drill bit in the chuck. I lift the drill press metallic table. And now I need to move the table until all the length of the drill bit is against the table surface. I need to turn it just a bit more. And I put it against the drill bit. But there is a small gap between the bottom of the bit and the table. So I slightly turn the table and I move it against the drill bit. Like this, the top of the bit is against the table. But there is still a very small gap between the bottom of the bit and the table. But if I tap the bottom of the table, now there is no gap there. Like this, in the top of the drill bit, all the edge of the bit grazes the table surface. And in the bottom, the drill bit edge also grazes the table surface. I tighten the nut. I make sure the table is still perfectly vertical, and I tighten the nut hard. I will use this piece of plywood to make the vertical table. I already drew the shape of the table I want to cut, and I cut it with my jigsaw. I could use the miter saw to make straight cuts, but to make this table I want to use simple tools. Then this, and these are the cuts I made. And this is part of the edge of the board I bought. So this is the only perfectly straight edge I have in this table. My intention was to put this table like this. This is the straightest edge. And I wanted it to put this strip at 90 degrees with it. To hang it on the metallic table. Then I would put here the square, and I would put another strip at 90 degrees with the first one. But the cut I made is not straight enough. So I have just decided to turn the table like this. And I will put the straightest cut up. And I will put this strip there, perfectly flush with that straight edge. I put the strip and the table like this on the work table. And I clamp the strip with a couple of spring clamps. Like this, the strip is perfectly flush with that straight edge. I drill guide holes and I screw the strip to the piece of plywood. So now I can put the square against the straight edge to put the other strip at 90 degrees with the first strip. So the strip goes there, and the end of the strip is flush with the edge of the plywood table. I drive one screw there. I make sure the strip is perfectly at 90 degrees. I clamp it. And I drive another 2 screws. Like this, I have an horizontal strip plus a vertical strip at 90 degrees with the first one. I hang it like this, and I can move it forwards or backwards. I move it against the drill press column. And I draw the shape of those openings we can see in the metallic table. Now I move it until the vertical strip is beside the drill bit. And once again I draw the shape of those openings. This is the first drawing. This is the second drawing. And this is the place where both drawings match. So I will drill a hole in the center of that place. Here it is near the edge, but it is not a problem. I drill 6 mm holes. I insert hex bolts. And now I use a narrow chisel to cut 2 holes with the shape of the head of those hex bolts. Like this, the head of the bolts don't protrude the table surface. I can hang this on the metallic table. And I can put the washers and the wing nuts to lock the plywood table in any position I might need it. When I tighten the wing nuts, I must make sure all the length of the horizontal strip is against the edge of the metallic table. If I put both the plywood surface and the vertical strip beside the drill bit, I can check if both the strip and the table surface are perfectly vertical. The drill bit edge must graze the plywood and the strip both in the bottom and in the top of the bit. There is a small notch in the metallic table. It is to put the table in any angle we might need it. But the scale in this drill bit only goes from 0 degrees to 45 degrees. Now I've clamped the drill press base in the edge of my work table, because I need room here, in this side of the drill press. In the head of this drill press we can see 2 Allen screws, and I can loosen them with this Allen key. Now I can turn the head of my drill press. And to lock the drill press head in this position, I tighten the Allen screws. Now I must lower the table until this edge is slightly below the tip of the bit, but this end of the strip protrudes the plywood board, and it will bump in the drill press base, so I cut that end of the strip. Like this, I can lower the top edge of the table under the tip of this 8 mm bit, but I will make a test with a 6 mm drill bit. So now I lift the table until the top is slightly below the tip of that 6 mm bit. I tighten the clamp that clamps the table to the column, but not too hard. I want the table to stay at this level, but I also want to be able to move it to one side or to the other. That's why I don't clamp it hard to the column. Like this, I can move the table to both sides, and I can also slide it forwards or backwards. Then I put there the strip I want to drill, with the end flush with the top edge of the plywood table, and the edge of the strip I want to drill against the vertical strip I screwed to the plywood table. This is a long strip, but because the drill press head is overhanging the edge of my work table, I have room to put it in vertical. I use a spring clamp to clamp it there. This strip is a bit narrow, but enough to clamp the spring clamp to it, because I don't want it to bite the metallic table. If this plywood table were longer, I could put here another spring clamp, but for now I don't put there any clamp. Like this, I can turn and slide the table until the mark I made in the head of this strip is right below the tip of the bit. When it is right where I need it, I tighten the wing nuts. I use another spring clamp to clamp the strip. I tighten the clamp that clamps the table to the column. I make sure everything is okay, and I drill a perfectly vertical hole in the mark I made in the head of this strip. In my next video I will use both the horizontal and the vertical drill press tables to make a dowel joint. Thanks for watching. You can find all my woodworking videos in my channel in YouTube. And if you like my videos, thanks for sharing and for subscribing.